I'm doing absolutely fantastic. It's an amazing morning, dude. I woke up, snow just falling from the sky, blanketing the earth. Like you wouldn't believe. Just these heavenly little fat snow raindrops. It was like the weird kind of slushy snow. And, I'm craning my head out at 5 a.m. to just see the streetlights getting blasted, these like orange glows being illuminated by this. Hey, where are you going? By this falling snow. And, oh, she wants to go back to bed, clearly. Like, she is exhausted, I think. Silly waifu. By the way, this is Haru, in case you're wondering. This one's mine. You can get your own, but, she's mine at the end of the day. Alright, you need to get stood up properly. There we go. Dude, the music here is such a bop. I don't know if you guys are listening to this, but absolutely crazy top tier boppage going on right now. I have so much energy today, it's bloody amazing. So you might be asking yourself, why in the world are you sitting here doing this autistic rock clicking? And I'll tell you, I need this. These are going to go into my portal nexus I built last night, so that's always going to be nice. Definitely want to max that thing out. I'm still not sure exactly what portals I'm going to put into it. I have to go get some more construction EXP soon. I'll probably get to 85 today, maybe like 92 eventually. I have to go get some more planky boys for that. I refuse to use Kingdom of Miscellanea, by the way. I just simply refuse. So I have to go and chop them all myself. But, it is what it is. Like, you just have to do what you have to do. I also decided to call in sick from work today. It's just too good of a time to bloody be caught up looking at ones and zeros, being a data harvester, being a recovery technician. The kids' photos, they can wait. Like, the big businesses, unreleased documentaries or whatever, it can wait. Right now, it's me, my waifu, and this lovely morning, dude. So speaking of mornings, what's you guys' mornings routine? What are my friends' morning routine? For me, I always start every morning with a nice, delicious bowl of overnight oats with some protein powder in it, whey protein powder, vanilla flavored. And then I'll add stuff to it to make it taste good, like cocoa and honey. You've got that cocoa powder and then the sweet little glaze of honey. Then it congeals overnight into this almost gelatin-like mass, and it's just very good for you, obviously. Overnight oats are one of the best things you can eat, practically. Good for your gut, good for your body, And yeah, I have been trying to build muscle. It's not working, obviously. I'm sadly very far from any sort of beefcakeage. I know you can't see because my arm is just blindingly illuminating, but probably should do this one. But yeah, little tiny itty-bitty baby arms. Can't be helped. It just is what it is. I don't know, but I've been trying. So my morning routine is usually starting with a bowl of overnight oats. I have cinnamon that I put in them too. It's delicious. I always make them with milk too, but sometimes I use Greek yogurt. I don't like it as much with the Greek yogurt, the 0% fat Greek yogurt. I like it with the milk, specifically no fat milk. That's how I make my overnight oats, but other people can have opinions. They're wrong, but they can have opinions on overnight oats. They're just objectively silly. But yeah, and then usually what I'll do is I'll usually go for a walk or a run in the morning. Usually that's to work. I like to, do the whole run for 2 minutes, walk for 30 seconds sort of thing. People must think I'm a psycho running to work with my lunch pail. Well, not my pail. I have a little weird backpacky European man purse thing that I use, but it works. It has all the stuff you need, like an umbrella, a balaclava. Don't ask. It gets cold here. It's even colder right now, but I don't turn on the heat and all of that. But yeah, so my morning routine is usually a run, some overnight oats, and then work or play at that point. And then usually for lunch I'll have something light, like a rice-based dish or a salad. I really like just random greens with yuzu. which it's a Japanese sauce if you don't know what it is, but I highly recommend you try it. Actually, top tier tasting yuzu and just random greens. Like, don't drench it in the stuff. You don't want to overdo it. Just a light drizzle is more than enough. And it just makes any greens taste absolutely top tier. Perfection incarnate. Well, not quite perfect, but good enough. Good enough. Everything could be better, but yeah. And then, so that's like lunch, and then usually I'll either bring it into work in like a little like Gladware Tupper tin, or I'll eat it here. And then after that, I like to get home. Usually this is my second run. I have to walk at least 10k steps a day, or else I just feel awful. I don't know why, but I have my little government issued step tracker here, and I'll usually do around 10,000. And then I'll get home, I'll cook dinner, usually something like Japanese weebu, or like tortilla pizza, just because like pizza crust, if you eat it with all of that garbage in it, it's just not good for you. So, I generally try and be healthy. I fail sometimes. Like once every 2 weeks or so, I'll have something bad, or I'll have like a bag of chips, or she'll like trick me into eating something unhealthy. Ooh, you can, with all this light, you can actually see the like old man veins and stuff on me. The age is finally coming through and displaying it. How horrible, actually awful. But again, it can't be helped. I am ancient. I was ancient when this world was young. A famous being once said. I'll let you divine where that wisdom came from. But yeah, that's always amazing. And then, and then after din dins, I'll usually work on finishing up whatever I need to get done. Either freelance computer programming projects, work shenanigans that I've put off, anything else. And then around 7-ish p.m. I'll usually get home around 6, eat, maybe play like half an hour of video games. And then around 7, it's time to do my nightly routine. Usually it's like I do brush the teeth in the morning, and I'll brush teeth again at night. And then it's usually some kind of a workout, either like barbell complexes. I'm a big fan of barbell complexes. Just for like this weird like cardio workout mix. I only put like 60 to 70 pounds on the bar, somewhere between there. That's with the bar, so the bar weighs like 20, and I'll put like 60 something pounds on it, or whatever, what have you. And then I'll do that, and I'll just do, my routine is 6 military presses, 7 of I forget what these are called, but it's like a squat with a bar on your, this thing here where you're resting it, like that. So I'll do 7 of those, so 6 military presses, 7 of those, 8 underarm rows, or whatever they're called, rows, 9 deadlifts, 10 squats, and I'll repeat that 10 times with minimal weight, just for some like really sick cardio. I usually only lift like 3 times a week, or try and actually seriously lift, but it's not. I'm just too tiny of a person, I think, at the end of the day. In case you're wondering, I'm 5'9", 140 pounds, so I'm absolutely a massive Chad, as you can imagine. I'm an itty bitty baby for an American, but it is what it is. I can't change my height. Yeah, so 145'8". I'm basically a little babby, and yeah. And so after my nightly workout, I'll usually then get in my sleeping bag. I have to sleep on a sleeping bag because my back is so messed up from untold years of gaming in a video gamer chair and just like computer shenanigans. So it's pretty much gone as far as doing anything but sleeping flat on it. It seems to help a lot though, by sleeping flat on my back. It seems to be pretty good. And then I will do something AFK on the laptop, and then eventually sleep. Speaking of the laptop, we'll talk about the total number of possessions I have. I live a really minimalist lifestyle, like exceptionally minimalist. I have almost nothing, and everything I have I can pretty much justify. So I don't know how most people like define minimalism, or how they go about it. I was pretty much born into minimalism. It never was like something I had to actively make a change for, because of the way I was raised. Thanks, Mom and Dad. I wasn't exposed to like commercials, and I never got that whole sense that you're supposed to have like pleasure from purchasing things. Even today, I don't get happy when I purchase things. I get happy when I get the results I want out of things, or when like, something is innately fun to me, or the value I get from the actual item, not so much the act of purchasing it. Like, a lot of people, I think, get audible pleasure or like dopamine from spending money, which I think is a very, very detrimental attribute to have, and it's like ingrained into our consumerist culture. Ooh, dropping the Marxist terms there, but not really. But yeah, so if you're someone that feels that way, I would highly suggest working on denying yourself, controlling your dopamine and disassociating the act of spending money with the act of receiving dopamine. Like, if you can part those two things and really recalibrate your dopamine with getting the actual result you want from something, or the reward, or the pleasure, the good taste, whatever, that's going to benefit you tremendously in life. Because most people I see, the reason they have no money throughout most of their life is because they're investing in this recurring dopamine thing, which, yeah, I'm sure it feels good, like buying all that stuff, but it's not really doing anything for you at the end. You're trading away your money for no tangible benefit, just like useless plastic and stuff, which, there are some things that you can make that justification for. For instance, my waifu. This brings me an exceptional amount of joy cuddling up with this whenever I do. Fills my fucking heart with happiness. Period. And I know that's silly to say, but it's factually true. So when you buy an item, it should give you a tangible joy for owning it. I like having the weeaboo and degenerate clothing. These are my pajamas. I wear them way too much, but basically, I enjoy these. I've bought 2 pairs of these. Same heckin' ahegao, stupid looking, like millennial wear. Why? Because I like it. It brings me a lot of joy. Like, having anime themed clothing, virtually all of it is the only thing I'll wear. And you need to have clothing, so it's not like I can go without clothing, realistically. Some people maybe can get away with it. I think I would get sued for, destroying someone's eyes if they managed to catch my, naked body through the window. That's like lawsuit territory. That's a visible physical offense. Other people might not have that issue, so you can definitely reconsider the clothes argument. But for me, it's a straight up requirement to always have at least some clothing on. Like, I shower wearing swim trunks on the off chance someone might fall through the roof and then see my naked body, and then that would be a whole lawsuit. Like, their eyes would melt out of their face. It's a sad truth, but I'm personally protected against it. But so let's talk about the things I own, and specifically what uses they have for them. So I have a computer, and I have a mini laptop. The laptop is for on the go, and it's an i3. It's the ThinkPad X22 with the i3 processor, Libre booted. So it doesn't have the Intel management engine. There's no spyware on it, and if I'm going to be caught with that thing, it's going to be through some other mechanism. So no NSA backdoors. It's a great piece of Skitzo equipment. Highly recommend it. It's got the little touch button too. That makes life so much better if you're trying to use a laptop. And yeah, I have a mouse for the laptop and all of that, but still, if I'm on the go, or if I'm doing like cooking or something, and I want to listen to music or whatever, I don't want to take 20 minutes to navigate a bloody web page with my laptop because I didn't bring the mouse. So the little trackpad is nice. It's on the keyboard. I don't know why they got rid of that, because that seems like it's a great invention, but yeah. So if you're someone that's privacy focused or wants to have a secret internet persona like I used to, I don't care about that anymore, clearly, but I used to be amazingly anti-dox. Like, I never got doxed until I did it myself just recently. But yeah, that's going to go a long way in having one of those. And you combine that with some sort of spoofing technology. You're basically invisible as long as you don't do something stupid like mix your accounts or log into things and give it away, which maybe depending on that, you could have caught me some way like that, but you would need like a subpoena against like entities that don't readily give out subpoenas. But yeah, anyways, that was an awful tangent, but let's get back to the things I own. So computer, laptop. I like mechanical keyboards. I have a cheap, cute little one. I own a phone, but I'm probably going to get rid of it for anything else besides an authenticator, so I'm going to cancel my service after my job is done because I don't talk with anyone on the phone. Like, I don't even really use a phone. I have gloves to keep my hands warm. I have a mic. I have a lamp. I have one lamp. That's it, just in case. And I have to move it around if I want to use it, but, I do have a lamp. I have 3 cups, They're pretty basic because I don't really see the joy of like one of those anime-themed cups. If I ever find one that speaks to me, I might buy it and replace one of my old cups, but, it's not a big deal. I have cutlery. I have like 5 of every cutlery and one really nice knife and a cutting board. As far as kitchen equipment goes, I have a wok. I have one really big stir-frying pan with one of the lids for steaming, and I have a smaller little, almost like a soup pan for like ramen and stuff that I cook, and then I have a lot of BPA-free like food storage containers, the airtight ones, because I have 300 pounds of rice and beans. Prepper, yeah, I get it, it's cringe, but it makes me sleep well at night knowing that like I am protected in the advent of economic collapse. Like, I have a ton of money, so it's never going to be a risk in my life, at least, for like financial ruination, to my knowledge at least. You never know, unless there's like a complete and total collapse, like the petrodollar fails, the Americana is done and dusted, which it could happen. Anything could happen, right? But I at least have a good year's supply. So I have like 300 pounds of rice and beans. I have tons of oats because I like them every morning. I have tons of like canned corn, canned goods, all of that, like tuna, everything. And I just eat from it, and whenever I run out of a bin, I'll just buy like another 20 pounds of rice. I have like a billion of those 20-pound BPA airtight containers just to keep the bugs out. And yeah, it works great. I have like 35 pounds of cinnamon just for seasoning. I have tons of I like Himalayan salt, pink salt, so I have tons of that. I've got basically a lifetime supply of a lot of things, but I've got it all basically there. And worst comes to worst, either I have infinite food in the advent of some apocalyptic scenario, or I can feed a family for several years. If there's like a full-on total apocalypse that's like lasting more than a couple of years, I probably don't want to be alive anyways. Like, I cannot exist without the internet. There's no point. So I absolutely need the heckin' internet. So I'm fine with just not existing if things go that bad. Oh man, coffee. I've got it so the house smells like delicious coffee too, because I've brewed that up. So that's exceptional. It's just a wonderful morning for me, man. Let me tell you, I'm just on cloud 9 right now. I don't know, the feel-good chemicals are just flowing all over. Like, they're leaking out of me, irradiating the room in a bright, brilliant glow from just how happy I am. It's a rare... actually, it's usually every day off that I feel this good, when I'm free from my wagey cagey. That's probably why I'm getting rid of it. I mean, I don't know why I worked for so long, right? Because I could have retired, like, at least a year ago. Because I was doing, like, full-on hardcore double job waging for, like, 6 years straight while living a minimalist lifestyle, which I should finish talking about the rest of my possessions. So I've talked about what's in my kitchen. I do own exercise equipment. I have a squat rack, a 1-inch Olympian barbell. It's the 1-inch type, so it weighs 20 pounds instead of the 2-inch, which is like 50. So I'm pretty light, so I'm never going to be able to like lift 400 pounds. I don't need one of the greater ones, but and yeah, I have 200 pounds of weight currently. There have been times in my life where I was able to bench it all, but I recently snapped my arm, so I haven't been able to like rebuild that. I'm still trying to get that back. But yeah, let's see, there's that, and then I own clothing, and then I own one dresser, and I own a standing desk, which is really useful if I want to walk, or I might get a treadmill to actually make that more efficient. But if I want to walk while I'm gaming or whatever, I'm trying to min-max, I have that option. And then I have a little model writing desk, which is comfy when I want to be on the ground. I'm usually on the ground during summer with a fan, just because it's more comfortable for me, like, as opposed to being on the writing desk, Like the writing desk is better for winter because you can move your legs; they don't get as cold. You can keep your hands in motion. It really helps with prolonged like sitting and standing for like work-related things. I do the same thing at my job, so you know. And no, I will not clean my coffee cup. I've used it like 3 times now, and it's got like a ring around it. And yeah, that's just gonna stay. I'll clean it later. Not right now. I'm nasty. I'm eating germs. Go figure. I'll live. My immune system is perfect. I used to eat bugs when I was a little kid, like preteen. Like I would just eat anything like that was wiggly and creepy, like spiders. Like I don't know why I fucking did it, but I did. I heckin' ate all sorts of random, like awful garbage. My mother used to have poison control on speed dial. I was such a menace. That's good. So yeah, new possessions. I bought a 3DO and like an interface and all of that. So that's coming in shortly. Whenever it gets here, it gets here. So yeah, I might make some interesting meme content with that. I can't wait. But yeah. So if you are one of those people though that like can't live a minimalistic lifestyle, like think about this. Because I don't own a vehicle, because I live in a studio apartment, like very cheap. Like my total living expenses are around this. So $500 a month rent. I pay it between like 4 and 6 months in advance. Maybe I'll do a whole year at a time because I can just drop $6,000 and then that's a year. And then my landlord still hasn't raised rates, and that's like perfect for me. Like my life's beautiful in that sense. Like very few people are lucky enough to be paying $500 a month rent, and I am one of those people. And so that's helped me a lot too. But you can find cheap places depending on where you want to go. Just find a cheap place. Be good to your landlord. Pay him in advance if he's cheap, and he'll treat you good too. So landlords are people too. Like I get it. A lot of people are like the eat the rich type shenanigans, and as someone who is not rich but definitely upper middle class, I can understand the sentiment. But at the end of the day, they're people too. Just treat them well, and you'll be surprised how much leverage they'll give you. Like I've never had an issue paying rent or anything like that, so I don't have to speak about that. I've never missed a rent payment in my life. I'm very studious like that, very mature, very adulting here. How adult, but it is what it is. You just pay your rent, and pay in advance, and your life's going to be better when you get ahead of your bills and then can start organizing your money. So so that's rent, $500 a month. I have internet, $50. I use the Verizon 5G box because it's sending radio waves into my brain and scrambling them. So it's helping me escape the schizo thoughts by this thing projecting its into my skull. And just by ingesting those 5G waves, I'm able to manipulate like the reality inside of my head and make things manifest, like my wife. Of course. Like I hope that just makes perfect sense. But anyways, and then I $50 on phone. Again, I just have a like cheap solo plan from a company that has unlimited. So and yeah, and then like $50 on electricity, just to keep my computer running. I don't turn on the heat even in the dead of winter. I just put on a coat if I'm cold. Like, and then during the summer, I sometimes have to spend like $60 because I'll have a fan running 24/7, just because I'm sweating. But yeah. Summer is fun in its own right, though, trying to dodge the heat. I don't mind it too much. Some people might. I don't. And to each their own as far as that goes, but that's at least how I feel about it. And yeah. So I spend around $700 a month, and, depending, like my income's all over the place because, the temp work and the freelance work and all of that, and it's just random, but I'm sure you can see how it's very easy for me to net at least, $1 or $2 a month in the bank. And I don't see why most people can't do that, even at a slower rate. Like if you start at 20, let's just take a fictional person that's 20 years old, and they hate cars, they're not getting a car, they're not falling into the car trap, they're not following into the consumerist trap, and they're just all right, we're safe. They don't know that what we're doing here. We're good. Yeah, they're gone. They're tricked them. They must have thought we were also a fire truck and just drove on by. Oh, they're back. All right, quick. All right, we fooled them again. We're good, team. We're good. We're good friends. safe and sound. So imagine, anyways, as I was saying, imagine you're like some 20-year-old like Zoomer boy, right? He was a Zoomer boy. I said, see, a cringe. Anyways, sorry. I couldn't stop myself. I try, but I just can't stop myself sometimes. So pretend you're like a 20-something Zoomer kid, right? Let's say, you're starting your first part-time job and you're getting your $15 an hour or whatever they pay at McDonald's these days. You've got your own place. You have your stuff together, man. You are for real, no cap, bussin', as they would say. You're a server and you're bussin' at your McDonald's. It's like a Japanese McDonald's where they have servers and all of that, and it's a fancy restaurant, right? So you're no cap. You're straight bussin', and let's say you work like 25 hours a week or whatever on average, right? At like 15. So let's say you take home maybe like $1,000, right? And you've got you've got all your expenses. You pay your own bills, everything. Water I don't pay for, but water's fairly cheap. But let's just say you're a kid, you have $700 expenses like that, and you put $200 away, every month. That's what, $2,400 a year. Let's say you do that for 4 years, right? You're straight bussin'. You're not, you're very poor by any standard. Like, you're well below minimum wage, but you can still store away money. You've got $10,000, and you just throw that. Not financial advice, disclaimer, not financial advice. But let's just say that you want to go to a company like, I don't know, J&J or Pfizer that has no refunds, by the way. I wonder what that's a reference to, but, we won't talk about that. It's okay. It's okay. We won't talk about that, but let's pretend that, you've invested into one of those dividends, and they're like a 2%er, right? So, you throw that $10,000, you throw it right into that dividend. So now you're getting your, on $10,000, what? At 2%, $20 a month or something? Yeah, $20 a month you're getting? No, you're getting less. Wait a second here. What is the actual dividend there? 2.2, is it 2.2 right now? Let me just get this exactly right. So, alright, so yeah. So I think you're getting 22 a month then, and just like that straight dividend with your $10,000. So you're getting $22 a month, right? I'm going to assume that's correct. In your dividend account, right? Out of your, let's just say you threw it in Johnson & Johnson at 2.2. So you're getting your, $22 a month there after your $10,000. It doesn't seem like a lot, but then you figure, okay, so my monthly expenses are $700, right? So I just threw that $10K after my 4 years into my monthly expenses now are technically still the same, but let's say you reinvest that, right? Everything that in that fund goes right back into your 2% dividend J&J, right? Why am I clicking on that? I need to go to Snowflake. But yeah, so let's say you put that back into it, and you only just put money into it. You don't take anything out, right? You're a smart boyo. So you do that for another 2 years. Suddenly you're getting your 2.2, and you're already up to like $40 a month, and you're like 28. And at some point, you'll probably get a real job, and you'll probably be able to invest more than $250 a month in that. If you let's say after your first 4 years, you're in the job market now. You're able to invest $1,000 a month into it if you're living a minimalist and easy lifestyle. So you're throwing $12,000 into that a year, right? So now you're getting like $15 every year extra off your total health. By the time you're 40, you basically don't have expenses. Like you're all positive in the bank. And if you start making more than that, if you start saving up more and just putting more into like a diversified dividend portfolio, at some point you don't even need to work anymore, and you have excess spending money. At some point that dividend cash starts giving you more than your actual living expenses, and you have to start figuring out how you're going to spend money, because if you just keep reinvesting it, you're just going to keep getting more money that you're probably never going to spend. it's a nice place to be in life, and it's not that difficult to get there, especially if you're a youngin and you're listening to something like that. Disclaimer, not financial advice. This is just something you could do that's pretty much foolproof, assuming the dollar doesn't die. And if the dollar dies, it's all for naught anyways. You know, you drink the corn syrup, buy your, goy slop, whatever, consume product, and just feel good. If that's just who you are, that's just who you are. You can certainly take that opinion. But I would argue if you're thinking about delaying gratification in a long-term lifestyle, doing something like that is going to benefit you. And you don't need to buy things that aren't going to benefit you. There's no reason to. You're just tricking yourself into getting dopamine. And you can get dopamine from the bloody video games. Right here, the character click on rock, me get thing, me get benefit in game, me happier. And you can very quickly get to yourself to a point where you can be a NEET for all eternity just by doing that simple thing. You don't have to wagey for that much in your life even to get to a point where you no longer need to be wagey. A little bit of self-control with your spending habits, and a couple years, if you work like a decent job, if you have a trade or something, if you're a tradie instead of a wagey at Mick Buckles, like if you're not being Mick Buckbreaker, you could realistically be done before like 30. Like you could have enough to live off of and live like a decent gamer life. Obviously this assumes you're not going to have a family or other expenses, or you live with other people, because you can't really subject other people to such a strict living condition. They're just not going to take it, and no woman would. Why would she? But if you're someone that's hit the proverbial wall, if you're like a man that isn't going to make it in life as far as romantically inclined figures go, it doesn't make a lot of sense not to do something like this. I would say that you're already living a fairly frugal lifestyle. Like video games are a very cheap hobby. I have like where do I see my membership? How much membership do I have? I have 3,135 days of membership on this character from liquidating my main, and I still have God knows how many bonds there. I think I only invested half the bonds I got from liquidating my main into this account, and the other half I'm just gonna let depreciate and go up in gold value, and then eventually I can sell them. And if I want to return let's say in a couple years to playing a main account, I'll have more on my main than when I started doing that. And it's probably a much better investment than keeping it in items, for instance, because items go all over the place all the time, whereas bonds pretty much only go up. And I just have to sell them during the summer. I bought them during the winter, I sell them during the summer, and I make a guaranteed profit. Not financial advice, don't buy some bonds and stuff, you fucking mongs. But that's something you can consider. But yeah, I would definitely look into life and think about moving your life towards at least some sort of solution to the wage problem. And there is not a person alive right now that can't find cheap housing somewhere, live frugally, and then I'm at the point where I can do whatever I want basically and buy whatever I want. And that's good for me. You all have to figure out your own way to get there. And you might not have a skill, you might not be a tech person, but even the Mick Wagey, by the time he's like 40, can get to a point where his living expenses are covered. Now, inflation's going to make that a little bit harder going forward. I was lucky I was done basically before all of the Bidenomics hit, and that it is what it is as far as modern. I should do a video on modern monetary theory, but I don't feel like getting angry today. I feel like talking about happy solution, life good, how make life good, happy, yeah. But yeah, that's at least my opinion on minimalism and the things it can get you. So, you could have the stupid plushie, you could have the goy slop, you could have the $15 refried bean burger hash hybrid cricket meal. You can do that, or you could just not. And you could just do things that are going to, benefit you. Buy things that benefit you. Make a better life. Like, if the number of possessions you have is something you can count on one hand, you're doing good in life, and get there. It's not hard to get there. Oh, I do also have incense. I forgot to mention them. I really like incense. They're heckin' amazing. And I'm so happy right now, dude. This is just peak chill. But yeah, I still need another 1,500 of these. I need 2,000 of these and then 3,000 of the blue and green. And then I'm straight pogging out of control on these. Yeah, so I can add these to my portal nexus, and that opens up another room. I'm not sure what I'm going to do with it, right? I have one room that's going to be the mounted glory in my POH. I have another room that's going to be, maybe a costume room. I'm not sure, because I have two portal rooms at the top. I want a portal nexus down bottom, and then I have to have a butler until I finish my 99 construction, and at that point I'm gonna fire him and then get rid of the bedrooms, and then those two bottom rooms can be like something else. Like I have a workshop already, so I don't need that, but maybe I won't need a kitchen anymore, I don't think, although having access to this stuff in a larder could be beneficial, I'm sure, in some circumstances. I need the combat dummy room. I forget which one that is, but that's going to be a requirement, because I'm going to have to like ancient mace spec up to have more than max prayer for the inferno when I go do that. So I'll need a combat dummy room, and then oh yeah, the last room will be the room that with a lectern in it, because I will need the thing to scout shooting stars sometimes, and I'll need a lectern if I ever want to make tablets. I don't plan to make teleport tablets ever. One, I'm not mining soft clay. The only soft clay I have, I've gotten from the reward chest from doing construction training, the Daddy's Home minigame bullshit. Mahogany's Home, that's what it's called, yeah. Mahogany Homes. So that's basically the only way I'm getting any soft clay, and it's very limited. I'm like 83 construction, and I only have like 500 or something. So no, one more. I have to click. There we go. Ugh, full bloated. Whoa, carrying all this, you're gonna break my back. My back. Oh. You can hear every disc just cracking as I go back to deposit them. Yeah, I'm sorry. That was autistic. I'm not sorry, actually. If you're here this long, if you've watched this many of them, you're used to it. You have to be accepting of it now. There's no way around it. What? You got a problem? Didn't think so. Glad we agree on that. Because you better believe. Yeah. But I think that's about all I have to say on minimalism and purchasing stuff, and like a decent life situation, you know, my daily habits and all that. What a silly heckin' video, but you know, it is what it is. I also think you need a routine, though. Having a routine is really going to improve your life, even if you're like a degenerate NEET, which I'm about to become again. Like, yeah, well, I don't know if retirees count as NEETs. I'm not sure if I ever counted as a NEET, really. I mean, I said I was, just because it's a good meme. It's top tier memery, and the whole wage C meme, toppest of tiers, toppest of keks, one could say. But yeah, I don't know. I'd have to look it up and figure it out, and I just don't care that much. But yeah, so get a routine, live as a minimalist, stockpile funds, and then do as you heckin' please. That's a recipe for success, dude. Not a recipe for disaster. It's not going to get you Barrow's gloves, but it will get you the ability to do whatever you heckin' want in life. And I think that's important. And I hope a lot of you Zoomers that are listening to this, and especially some of you oldies that still haven't done this, start moving towards, you know, being financially independent from all systems, besides, you know, returns from some big company like Lowe's, like J&J, whatever have you. You can just make a nice little dividend portfolio against all of them, and you know, you'll get your 2% on your funds every quarter or whatever it is. 2% a month. I have to figure it out and see. I think it's 2% every quarter, so it's actually less than what I was saying. I'll have to go look it up. But yeah, it's not hard. You really don't need to know the amount. You just need to throw the things in it, and then eventually it goes up enough and you're fine, right? But that's at least how I feel about it. You have a good day. I think do they pay quarter? Yeah, they pay quarterly, so I forget I believe it's 2% a quarter, so I might have misconstrued my math there, mangled it, but you get the picture. You just throw it in and then you don't think about it. Like, it's not something where you're actually having to manually process it, which makes it a lot better than all of the other options. So, you have a good one, team. Peace.